This episode of Inside the Goblin Universe brought to you by SeatsLink.com, the complete ticket experience. Use promo code GOBLINS with your purchase. SeatsLink.com.
Hi everyone, I'm David Cook, host of The Ghost Hour on KSLR Digital Radio, and you're listening to Inside the Goblin Universe.
Hello again, folks, and welcome to another edition of Inside the Goblin Universe. I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Ronald Murphy.
I'm Captain Bryan Bowden.
Well, no, wait. Now, I think that there's Sir Bryan Bowden.
I am Sir. I'll change it back. I'm Sir Bryan.
Okay, great, because, you know, we have to keep our banner a little bit consistent. Yeah, but you know what?
Got to keep the goblins on their toes, Ron.
We can have fun with the goblins tonight because one of my favorite people in the entire world is on our show tonight again.
Yes, yours and my favorite, too.
That's right. Nina, and I love to say her name because it sounds like a Dante sonnet whenever you say it. It kind of rolls drippingly off of your tongue. So it's
say my full name, Ronald. Ronald, say my full name. They don't really sound like a Dante sonnet.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, Nina, you know, my fantasy is always saying your full name. But so it's Nina Marina Camarena, correct?
Nina Marie Camarena, yes.
Oh, wow. See, look at that right there. See, it does sound like, you know, you're in some sort of Tuscan villa writing with a quill pen and, you know, you sign this as your muse. And what else? You have become my aquatic muse in regards to mermaids, I will tell you this. So
I know you sent me that amazing poem the other day, and I was just like, wow. I can hardly wait to read that on YouTube. I'm practicing it, all right?
Well, and I'm looking forward to that. Bryan, who is going to be, we can tell all the goblins right now, Bryan, I think, and this is news for 2018 coming up, that we are going to take this show one step forward, or is it a step backward? I'm not sure regarding the technology, but we're going to introduce a book market for Inside the Goblin Universe. So it will be now Goblin Media, where we will be able to put out print books. Now, Bryan and I had talked about the kind of books that we were going to put out. Definitely we're going to be releasing books on the paranormal and on the cryptid and on ufology and things of that nature. But Bryan is a poet and I'm a poet as well. And we've done the traditional publishing where, you know, you really don't have much control over your work whenever you're finished with it. So we're thinking we're just going to have an imprint where we can put out a little bit of everything, and as soon as Bryan finds the time to do this, he will be releasing book after book, which I cannot wait because the guy is a veritable genius whenever it comes to book design.
I thank you very much. Thanks for putting all the pressure on me. And I feel like I'm in the Iron Maiden right now.
Yes, that's right.
The sonnet era. But yes, we're going to definitely put a bunch of books out, and it's on multiple subjects. We're not just paranormal. We are people, and we want to bring you interesting subject matter, stuff that you like, wow, that's pretty cool, or I didn't know that, or wow, I just learned X, Y, and Z. That's why we try to do the show that we do. It's try to be fun and bring you fun people and interesting information.
Right.
So it should be good.
We are true Renaissance men, and in that tradition, I think Nina is the most exotic compliment we could possibly have, because she, in her own right, is a true Renaissance woman.
Yes, she is. I just actually saw your photos today.
Yeah.
That was my latest. That was actually a part 2. Okay, let me back up here. All right. Let me back up here. Okay. I have been reading these new fairy tale adaptations from one of my favorite fairy tale authors, Jenny James, and she lives in Utah. And they are actually going to be developing her new adaptations of the fairy tales to film. So once it gets off the ground in Hollywood and Burbank or whatever, it's going to be a sort of like a new fairy tale theater. So we'll see how that all goes. And I was inspired enough from the Snow White story that I just got done reading to do like a part 1 and a part 2 photo shoot.
That's
of
great.
that. She wanted me to do that, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can't wait to do it then. I just had to wait for the proper weather because it was an on-location shoot.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, so that's pretty much like the only setback when it comes to photo shoots is like mostly the weather, and especially
You have sun
now that it's like winter. Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, to all of our listeners that don't know, Nina is a model. I mean, she does a quite a good job. She's a professional model. And actually, Bryan, is that true? The only women we have on our show are models. Is that correct?
So far, yes. So far, they are
I'll have to
models.
look back on that, but I think that might be the case. So Nina, let me ask you a question. Is it possible that you might be able to hook us up with this other woman that's the writer? Because, fairy tales are an integral part whenever you're dealing with the paranormal, especially with cryptid research and things. We would love to have her on the show and talk to her about some of her adaptations.
Okay, I know that she's been really, really busy when it comes to writing some new stories right now and editing them and everything. So, but I will try to forward her to you guys, though. I'm friends with her on all kinds of social media. So.
I'm sure that you are.
I'll let her know about that.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah,
let her know that we have a show and we deal with in the realm of the Fae, and we also deal in the realm of literature, and we have a large fan base, and we'd love to talk to her about her series and how she came about it. I mean, I think it's a wonderful way to publicize.
Yeah, I have no idea where she got all of her ideas from. I own about 4 of them so far, and I would have to say definitely Snow White and Rumpelstiltskin so far that I've read, are the most like mind grasping stories that she had.
I'm looking forward to this. Now, our listeners will automatically want to see photos of you. So, do you have your own website, Nina? Where can people, check you out?
Not yet, but I'm working on that right now.
You need to get that.
I know, but it's I'm on Facebook. I mostly do Facebook stuff. Nina Marie Camarena, and
Twitter.
Yeah, and Twitter and Instagram. Twitter
Perfect.
is everything is a lowercase on Twitter. It's at Camarena _Nina. And that's twitter.com.
Right.
And then Instagram. Yeah. And then Instagram is Mermaid Princess Ariel #7.
Nice.
Sweet.
Are you on Pinterest?
No, I tried. I can't do it.
Most people can't do it.
Effort for me. I just can't do it. Or Snapchat. I'm not on Snapchat either. I tried that too. I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm doing with that.
Are you on Tinder?
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
No.
That's more of a dating app.
Yeah.
That's more of a dating
that's
app.
why. Okay,
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out because I'm trying to become more socially adept at knowing about what all these things mean. So, I like to put out the jargon that the kids are using nowadays.
Yes.
But
I just mostly stick to like the 3 well-known basic sites.
Google Plus, Twitter,
Yeah.
Instagram. One of the things you can do is there's a couple of sites that will offer you a free website, and you should start posting to it, and then also create a page or a group on Facebook. Then we'll help you set that up with you if you want. But get your publicity out there. Start doing these things and throwing them up. It'll be great.
I will tell the goblins out there, I am actually a proud owner of an 8x10 photo of Nina in the role of Ariel, because of course mermaids are my thing, that I have proudly displayed on my wall of the strange and unusual. And that's nothing denigrating.
Yes.
That's where all the people come, because this is my wall of me being proud. That's what I'm showing off. So I have my Patterson Gimlin foot cast up there. I have some Egyptian artifacts and some Greek and Roman artifacts. And of course, I have my picture of my mermaid Nina up on the wall as well, too. But I'm saying to you that many goblins out there would say, you know what? I want a picture of Nina. I wish I could purchase one. And lo and behold, you have your little site. You send them out an autographed picture. I think it would work for everybody, Nina.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'll let everyone know when I get a website working up and everything, all right? But it's in a process just now, though. It's in a process.
It's in a process.
And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
It all that matters is that it's in the process, and it's probably in the back of the head. The life takes precedent. But
it does.
When you get that out there, and I too have a wonderfully autographed photo of Nina as Ariel. It was beautiful, and my little ones just went nuts for it. By the way, they were fighting over like, can I keep it? I'm like, no, it's going to be right here. That's where it is. Tank right there.
Can enjoy it, so everyone can enjoy it. Yeah.
So and you can't go wrong with fairy tales and mermaids and princesses and all that. I mean, I thoroughly love and enjoy the fairy tales and the folklore.
I know. That's why we're here, Bri, is because when we were growing up, we probably believed a lot of this stuff to be true. That's what happened with me, and I still believe in a lot of it to be true now.
I believe that a lot of these fairy tales and folklores that you hear there, the wolf and Red Riding Hood and all of that, are really based on actual events that were written in a way that are more palatable than most people can handle it, because the Grimm stuff, I know for a fact, is very macabre and very bloody. But that doesn't necessarily sell books at that time frame. So it's always interesting when you find out that, when you're doing Ring Around the Rosie and you don't realize it's for the Black Death. Yeah,
we will talk to the author now. Nina, what is the author's name again? What is the lady's name that's doing the adaptation?
James. It's Jenny James. JENN 2 N's I and then James. Just regular James, JAME.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I would love to have her as a historian and somebody that looks at archetypes to find out the more fundamental meanings of certain legends. I would love to have her on and talk about this for an hour. So we're looking forward to this. But enough of her. We have Nina. Nina is in the house right now.
Yes.
And we also have to announce that she has now become our West Coast correspondent, right, Bryan?
Yes, she is our West Coast correspondent. Nina, you are the first and a Goblin Girl, and we use that because it rhymed, Goblin Girls, whatever.
That's right.
You're the first. You are the bar. You are everything, and we do appreciate what you do for us as a little supporter of us. But welcome to the Goblin Universe officially as part of the crew.
That's right. Like Cheap Trick sang, "You were the first, you will be the last."
Yes.
I know. Cheap Trick's great. Yeah.
That's right. We try to throw that on there. And if they want to come on Inside the Goblin Universe, you can reach us at InsideTheGoblinUniverse@gmail.com.
Okay, I don't know the
yes.
off the top of my head, but I'm sure I have some sort of connection to them, though. All right.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So what we're going to have you do now, Nina, as correspondent, West Coast correspondent of Inside the Goblin Universe of the ITGN radio network. What would that be? What is the call signs? It is the Inside the ITGU.
Yes,
right.
Indeed.
Network. The correspondent. Tell us a little bit of something that's going on.
Yes.
Both in the United States or worldwide that our Goblin listeners would be interested in.
All right. Well, then, let's see here. First things first, though. Every time that you put on the Sci-Fi Channel or any sort of travel channel, you might just catch the commercial guy or ad guy or whatever you want to call it, advertising about the Ancient Alien show and how that whole cast is going to be at AlienCon this summer during June the 15th through the 17th. It's that weekend. And I don't know exactly if I'm going to go to it this year, though, but definitely next year is a quite possibility, though. This year it's a maybe, but next year, yeah. So,
this could be very good.
And it's not just, and it's not just about like aliens and that sort of branch of the paranormal. It's also just in general the paranormal itself. It's just that the ancient alien guys are there on a panel. So
That's
the main thing.
I'm looking at this right now, and it's everybody. It's all the big players of the Ancient Aliens. Giorgio's going to be there. Eric Von Denken.
That's a big thing. Von Doniken himself is going to be there, and that is almost unheard of. I mean, he's an older gentleman at this point, and I would love to sit down and I would like to talk to him. I would love to talk to Giorgio and find out who the heck does his hair. I would like to have hair like that. Yeah, you know what? Who would not love the hair like that? And even when it reads on location, it still looks exactly the same.
That's a lot of moose, buddy.
Like he might even be like out in the field or so investigating something, and he looks exactly the same. The weather does not touch his hair at all. All right, I'm gonna tell you.
Actually, that might be the greatest unsolved mystery out there currently. Is
paranormal just right there.
Yeah, but he seems like a nice guy. Now, what is the dates of that again?
It is June 15th. Through the 17th, and it's this year, and it's normally done in Pasadena during that time.
Right.
Okay.
In Pasadena, California.
Right, and that's where it's going to be held this year as well?
Right, yeah, some convention center. I'm not too sure. It's still pretty new, so I'm pretty sure they move around with different conventions. The convention centers, so it just depends.
So your very first story as a correspondent, you in no way have left us. You did not leave us hanging. This was great so far. Yes. The very first story that you have is a great story that we can share with our little goblin friends that people might not know about. And I would personally like to attend this event. So again, let's see if 2 times is a charm. Let's hear the second thing you got there, Nina.
Okay. We all know the Ghost Hunters.
Yes, we do.
Jason, Steve, Dave, Sherry, KJ, Dustin, all them awesome guys. Okay.
Wow, yeah,
Great friends of mine.
Yeah.
Great friends of mine. Okay. Yeah. You guys too. And everyone under the sun loves to ask Jason, when is his show coming back? They ask me, they ask anyone pretty much affiliated with them, when is it coming back?
You're talking about the actual Ghost Hunters show, correct? The program, TV program.
Yeah, that used to be on Sci-Fi, and then it's been taken off now.
That's right. You know what? We have to point out, though, to our listeners, before we go any further, that I actually met you on Jason's radio show.
Yes.
Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yeah, actually, that came up on Facebook Memories. It was our first recording together. Yeah. And we were actually talking about fairies. It wasn't mermaids. It was just fairies alone.
It was. You were the very first person that called in, and I can still remember it to this very day. So, I mean, it was great. It was fated. It must have happened. And if anything ever develops in this burgeoning relationship that we share, because I'm sure the listeners can feel the chemistry, we will have to have Jason come in and officiate.
Oh, yes.
I could probably, get him on here. All right. It just depends on if he's going to be like in the UK or wherever, internationally or something. Yeah, filming. Right. But I'm gonna try. Yeah.
All right. So let us know what is going on in the world of Ghost Hunters.
Well, you can also go to his Jason's Facebook page, and he posts articles as to what's happening also. And he has announced also on Beyond Reality Radio that it is coming back. It's in the works right now. There has been some filming going on, and that's all that he can say. But we don't have an official date yet, though. We don't have an official date yet. But it's seriously working out.
That's some big news, though, because, that was the high mark of reality ghost hunting shows. This was the bar. They pretty much invented
reality TV, yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
They are responsible 100% for the current blow-up and explosion in paranormal-based television. They are really, they're groundbreaking as far as that's concerned. And the problem with this program is, and I'm a fan of Ghost Hunters. Towards the end, it was the same thing over and over, and I had, life takes precedent. But the problem, everybody said, oh, well, they never show evidence. Well, they do show evidence, and if you're a real ghost hunter, I do ghost hunting, you don't always have evidence. You don't always have this big, bombshell type of thing here. And you at the other end of the spectrum, they fake everything. Well, yeah, I'm sure people that work on the set they always say the same thing. But you got to understand something. When you're doing something for television or a production, there are times and experiences you will have that maybe you didn't catch, but you want to recreate it. So they're called recreations. I don't believe that they went out and purposely would fake anything. These guys seemed way too, honest about it.
Genuine. Yeah, they were very genuine.
100%.
And even if you just get to, even if you just speak to one of the ghost hunter, people from the team, they're very good people and they're very genuine in what they do. And, they're just good people. They're really nice. So, no, I don't believe for a second that they faked anything. Maybe what during the investigations for television purposes, who knows, they might have been a little exaggerated at times, but I wouldn't say that they faked anything.
Well,
right.
You know what? It's you can't.
In their evidence.
We've been in situations where you have to recreate things because and to debunk it and what have you. And when you're doing a production, I mean, it's a major league thing. I mean, I don't know how many guys they actually had on their crew, but when something happens and the guy's not paying attention or the camera's pointed a different way because the guy gets distracted or the person that's on the camera, you have to recreate it. So, you know what? Take it for what it is. Until you actually go out and investigate, don't call anybody out on something that you're not familiar with. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, that's big news. And I'm glad that you did report that because I've always been a fan of that. And since it's been gone, there's a bit of a void. It's hard to find other programs like that. Because happens?
Nothing will ever surpass Ghost Hunters for me. They were my first ever since I was like in elementary school. I've been watching them, and they were like my everything during Wednesday nights. I think it's always been Wednesday nights.
I think it has. Yeah,
it was Wednesday nights.
Yeah, and the Halloween specials too. Yeah, that was like the only night. So a lot of times it would be like on a school night, and that was like pretty much the only night I got to stay up past like midnight.
So let me ask you. So what do you think about like shows like Ghost Adventures, which will take a little bit of Ghost Hunters, but like take it to the next level, make it more punk style, I guess you could call it. What do you think about those kind of shows that are more, I guess they're more driven for confrontation? And what's your general feeling about those programs?
I don't know. I have tried seriously to get especially after Ghost Hunters left sci-fi. I tried to get into Ghost Adventures and Paranormal Lockdown and whatnot and a few other paranormal shows. But it's just not the same. It's not the Ghost Hunters.
That's right.
Also kind of know these guys too. It does help. But, I don't know. I guess I'm just a little biased, and it's just nothing's going to really surpass it for me.
I don't think you're biased. I think what you're describing these three different programs as TAPS and Ghost Hunters. It seemed more like a family, and it was a feel-good moment. They were doing this to help out other people and their interests as well. And everybody seemed to be part of this family. They seemed to. I mean, maybe it's just me. They seemed to look out for the people that were on the team. Everybody kind of looked out for each other, and they seemed to be more than just I'm just on the program. And that goes. Look, we met a lot of people from TAPS. They are fantastic, wonderful people. Joe Chin, Sherry Benedetti, you name it. They're wonderful people.
Sherry's great. Holla, Sherry. I love you.
These are genuine, real people. They're not stuck up. They were successful in their program. And that's great. Rob Demarest is great. I mean, all this. And what Dustin does now for helping people out, God bless him. But then you get to the guys that, you're going from Rhode Island, New England, to the guys over at the other one, Ghost Adventures, who are just Vegas people, and they're like, you know what, let's go full tilt, we don't care. I think Zach Baggins, I'd love to talk to you, Zach, but I think you push the envelope too much in regards to investigating this stuff, and you really are on a crazy borderline of stuff that you shouldn't be playing with. And then there's that middle ground now, and I think the middle ground now is Nick Garoff, and I think he's the best of both sides of the equation, only because
he was on Beyond Reality too. He was on Beyond Reality, and they interviewed him, and he was pretty level-headed. Him, Katrina, they go out and they do their thing, and it's just
I think that he generally get, they're close enough with each other. And also when he does the Shepherdstown stuff, everybody on that crew seems to be like, "Are you okay? Let's talk about us first." And it's not that they don't want to help out, but it just seems to be just enough edge, but not pushing the envelope. I think Nick learned his lesson because there was a couple of times, from what I understand, he had some stuff to come home with him. And I think he may have learned his lesson to a certain extent. So they're all good in their own rights, but it depends on what you want to do, risk-wise.
Right, and that's actually what it comes down to, doesn't it? It's risk because you're putting your reputation on the line. Some people obviously didn't care, or they didn't think they were going to be caught, like the poor fellow over there with the Paranormal State, which was filmed a lot. Whoa. The first season was filmed almost entirely in Pennsylvania because they were out of Penn State and everything. Right. And as it's come out more and more, it's showing that much of that show was faked, and not only on evidence capture, but also on the general history of the places that they were investigating. And that is really probably the most mortal sin you can commit. I mean, like we had talked about before, Brian, it's okay to recreate, but whenever you're actually faking the history of an area, that's a little bit harder to swallow and a little bit harder to forgive.
I think initially what happened with that show is they went out and they were doing certain things, and then they kind of got that fame thing. But the problem was Ryan Buell, who started all this, he had his own demons that he had to deal with. He had a monkey on his back, and I think now he's doing it from penitentiary state.
I think that's right.
I think Ryan's still in jail, and you know what? I don't know what happened with him. I don't. That's his. These are his demons he has to exercise. But you know what? When you play with fire of the devil, you're going to get burnt, or your soul's going to be taken. So, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, that's right. But I think that I am actually looking forward now to Ghost Hunters, even if it's just a special, or even if it's just a couple episodes here. I'm truly looking forward to it.
I just want them to bring Grant back, and I want them to bring the old team back.
And also, can I say something really fast? Actually,
go.
They do a lot of tweeting live during their first episode of that night.
Right.
And you guys definitely have to tweet live with me. Just saying.
Yes, we will have to do that.
We'll do that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I should add to all the goblins that I will be appearing with Grant at the Michigan Paracon and Sault Ste. Marie. I believe that's in August.
Nice. I may have to take a trip out there.
Yeah, and I'll also be appearing with Chip Coffee.
If you could ask Chip where my camera is, I'd love to find out.
Now, who is Chip? Who is Chip again? I don't really
Chip's been
run
on
in
a
the same
couple of paranormal
so.
programs. He was on. He was the big point person at Paranormal State, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The one that brought. Then he had his own paranormal kids thing where he was helping kids out to deal with their paranormal abilities.
I see.
He's just made the rounds as far as the tour of paranormal celebrity at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think I see him on anything new.
No, he's very likable, though. Oh, no, he was on something new. Oh. He was on a program with, I'm trying to think
Amy
what the
Allen?
program was. Yes. Bruni. He was on with Amy Bruni. He was on
Kindred
the show.
Spirits.
Yeah, Kindred Spirits.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's the one. Adam and Amy. Yeah.
Yep.
And Amy's a wonderful person as well. She was right behind us at the Ocean State. And she was fantastic. So...
Yeah, these guys are all very good people. And I think Chip Coffee is a genuinely good person as well, too. He seems funny. He's entertaining. And, people like him. So obviously, whatever his gifts are, he's able to convey this to the public, and nobody is getting hurt. So I say more power to him.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
So keep going, Nina. Keep going.
All right. Okay. Since we're still on the subject. Okay, great. Yeah,
you're on fire, Nina. You are on fire.
Well, since we're still on the subject of ghosts and spirits and whatnot, all right, all that otherworldly sort of subject. Did you know that the film Winchester with Helen Mirren is going to be coming out pretty soon? It's scheduled for release on February 2nd internationally.
Nice. Did they film it at the Winchester House?
Up there. Not too sure. Well, it's about them, so they might have done that actually too. So, but yeah, it's a full cast, and I'm really looking forward to that.
And you said it's Helen Mirren.
Right? Yeah, she plays the lead. She plays Sarah Winchester, the heiress.
That is incredible.
That's an interesting cast right there. That
is, yeah. If you've ever, or if you have seen it, go out and get it again. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor by watching her in The Queen. She plays Queen Elizabeth. Absolutely incredible performance. Almost everything that she does is Oscar caliber. So obviously this script is a good script, because she would not have taken it if it was anything less. So I'm really looking forward to this. And Nina, before you told me this, I had no idea it was even coming out.
Yeah, I knew that it was going to be coming out because Jason reported it, but I didn't know exactly the date per se. But it's going to be February 2nd. It's going to be February 2nd.
I'll tell you what we're going to do on this episode of Inside the Goblin Universe. Everything we're talking about, I'm going to kind of post a picture or try to overlay a video on top of it. When we put the video portion of it up, because she looks wicked in this thing. I'm actually looking
she looks
at it.
Exactly like that portrait. She looks exactly Helen Mirren. Okay, it looks exactly like that portrait that was taken, that snapshot of Sarah Winchester when she was driving in her cart, just down the road. Yeah, she looks exactly like her, like costume wise and everything. Yeah, they picked a really good actress. Yes.
Yeah. For people that know about this, Miss Winchester was married to the guy that invented the Winchester firearms, I do believe, and there was so many people that had been killed by his invention. She feared that the spirits of the dead would come back and haunt her throughout her life. So she built a house in California that is basically a maze, wouldn't you call it? I mean, it's
100% a maze.
Yeah, it is.
Doors that lead to nowhere were opened up into the outside, and this was to keep the ghosts confused about where they were at.
Yeah, there's doorways leading out to the outside, which are like 5 stories up or something, something ridiculous like that. Yeah, you'll fall to your death. Staircases leading to nowhere, rooms that open up to walls. It's crazy. It's crazy. And there was even like a seance type room that she would try to communicate with the spirits. And they go into the film.
Oh, I didn't know that she was a spiritualist either. I guess this would have been the time of I can never say this word. Come on, Brian, help me here. TheoCopho, theosophy. Theosophy. That's it.
Theosophy.
Yeah, theosophy.
Nice.
See, you know what? This is one of my favorite types. This is one of my favorite time periods, because this is like straddling the Victorian period, and it really is kind of a philosophy and a pseudo religion. Very interesting thing. And obviously, she was into that.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. And there's a Dr. Price that comes to see her on her well-being, and he catches her in the middle of a seance, and he's actually outside of the doorway at the time of the seance room, and he hears 2 voices. And when he looks, it's just like her or something.
Oh my goodness gracious! Yeah, so an upcoming show, we will have to do it on theosophy, and I will try to be able to say it by that point, because I think it's great. I wrote a book out called On Ghosts, and there's a section there on theosophy, because it really is a critical time on the way we look at the world of the ghosts and the world of the dearly departed. This was a time of not being so scared of the deceased, but looking at them for guidance and for help. And it really is a pivotal point in the way we look at the paranormal. And I think that Helen Mirren will do a fantastic job, because she does a fantastic job for anything that she's in. So yeah, I appreciate you telling us. So that will be February 2nd. Is that Groundhog Day?
Cue the Sonny and Cher.
That's right.
Ned Ryerson.
Now, let me ask you, Nina, because you are on the West Coast, have you ever been to the Winchester Mystery House?
No, I have not yet.
Okay.
I know it's in San Jose. It's up north from where I'm at. I'm in the Central Valley, but
Oh, you're in the Central Valley. So how many hours are you away from there?
about 3 to 4.
Bryan, I'm thinking road trip. We pick her up and we do a complete show from the Winchester Mystery House.
That would be
You
pretty
just let
interesting.
me know where to sign.
We could do that.
That would be great.
Yep, I'm going to be collecting a lot of video at that point. But we should definitely do a live broadcast on Periscope from there with Nina in tow, and then we can follow that up with another interview. You know.
I'm excited about all this. I'm excited about the possibilities, and I will tell you this so far, Nina, you have surpassed my wildest expectations. Actually, I'm having a great time right now listening to all this information you've gathered.
You know, this is all improv too, right? I don't really have a script.
I understand
either.
that.
It works. It works.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. What's next on the agenda, though? We have like 17, 18 minutes left.
I'm going to go out on a limb. Let me just tell you this.
Sure.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that she has now become the Jane Pauley of the paranormal. I think that everybody would agree that that she is now at that point where maybe this might be Emmy worthy. I'm not sure. I think if this was on video, I'm thinking it's going to be an Emmy worthy news gathering report.
Well, they do have internet-based award shows, and they do have podcast award shows. So hopefully, if the powers that be will play ball with us, we will get a podcast award because of this episode.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut it in threes. One part for you, one part for Ronald. Yeah.
I think they give you 3 awards.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
So everybody can take it home.
Well, we could win the regular normal podcast awards, the People Choice, and then we can get the British Podcast Awards award.
Oh, that's what?
Right, yeah, because we're international.
We are international, and also we have a great following to all of our little goblin friends in Japan. And I'm hoping, oh, absolutely, yeah. So hopefully we are able to get to these places eventually. We would like to be in England by 2019. I mean, we're really gunning for that. But hey, we'll see what happens. I'm excited.
We got to stop at the Land Down Under because, of course, they have the Castaway. The Australian Podcast Award. So if we're going to go for awards, I want a gun for all of them.
You're going to go? I'm going to go for the...
the full tilt right now.
I'm going to go for the Heisman.
The Heisman? A Heisman of podcasting would be interesting. I don't even know what that is.
Right. Yeah.
You hold the microphone with one hand and put the leg up, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm going to be blocking out. I'm going to be stiff arming all competitors.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. All right. What else do you have for us there, Nina?
Okay, now I'm going to take you guys a little bit more local where I'm at.
Take us local, Nina. Take us local.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, you guys all know where Yosemite National Park is, right?
See,
I'm just actually right outside of there.
I see. I don't know where it is. I know that it exists, and I know that about it. But
El Capitan, Half Dome, all right, big, giant granite, monoliths, really. Okay, well, we have actually a lot of disappearances when, especially during the spring, summertime, fall or so, when tourists come and they want to hang out in Yosemite and it's really neat and it's really cool up there because it's up north and it's a lot of fun, right? But a lot of times there's disappearances. That's the thing, and they are unexplained. It's very rare if they are explained, but there is an old Native American legend around here that talks about the night crawlers.
Okay, now we're talking.
We got you. This is a cryptid we have to talk about. Fill us in, Nina.
All right. The night crawlers are actually, they've been caught on surveillance cameras, and they usually come out during the witching hour, of course. And they are about the adult size, I would say, is probably maybe a little less than 5 foot or so. And they look like basically just kind of like a head with leg appendages, and that's it. No arms, no torso, nothing. Just kind of a smallish head with 2 leg appendages. And the legend is they are the guardians of the valley floor, and they in the guard. And if anyone is caught misbehaving or not giving the land respect exactly, or just a little too late after dark in their realm, in their territory, they might get you. So, but no one really knows how they're going to really get you. Okay?
Right.
So it's just a lot better off if everyone just gives the land respect. And they've even been caught on surveillance cameras too, even in Fresno and in closer, down in the South. So
yeah, now as somebody that
everywhere.
Yeah, as somebody that investigates this kind of stuff, I have seen those surveillance videos, and it's a very strange type of creature. And I think you described it quite adequately. It looks like a head, and obviously it's moving by some sort of bipedal means. However,
right. Mm-hmm.
What it looks to me as an investigator is that this creature, whatever it is, appears to have a cloak around it or a cape around it. That's the way it looks to me. So you can't see any arms, and you really can't see any kind of legs. You can see some movements, but what it appears to me is some sort of creature that is wrapped in some sort of garment.
Yeah, it could also be like it's a protective sort of cloaking device or something.
Very well could be. It almost gives one the immediate impression of the way a bat would walk if it covered itself with its wings.
Oh,
that's
right.
Yeah. That's
now that you've mentioned that, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, but it's extremely creepy. And if that is associated with Native American myth and legend, they've been telling that story for a really long time. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's still there or not, but I could have sworn there was like a little, in the Iwani Old Hotel, there was like a little figure, a little statue of one of those night crawlers. Wow.
Yeah, they're catching a lot of these things on video, and some of them are very, very creepy. This is one of those cryptids where I really don't think I would want to meet this creature in the dark. But yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The verdict's still out, even if it's a spirit or a creature. Still,
right.
We still don't really know exactly.
So let me ask you, Nina, are you allowed on the property of Yosemite? I guess it's a park, right? So you're allowed there 24 hours a day, correct?
Yeah. It's just, I'm pretty sure there's like a curfew though. I mean, you can't really go out after a certain time.
Well, you get camped there, correct?
I think you can camp there.
Yeah,
so there's
you can camp there though. There's certain areas though where you can camp at.
Okay, I got you.
But no one can really be out after dark at a certain time because, there's the waterfalls for one, and the rapids and such, and there's a lot of dangerous spots. So
well, I'm just gonna throw this out there, guys. Winchester Mystery House, and then hunting for some night crawlers. How does that sound, guys?
That sounds pretty interesting. I'm thinking of the slaughtered lamb and sticking close to the road and being there with the Moors.
That's absolutely. But you know what? If this does happen to be some sort of unclassified megabat, we could have ourselves, quite a little a party whenever we name these things.
This also could be related to a Mothman type of stuff. There's been a ton of that sightings right now in Chicago of all places. Multiple sightings, and Lauren Coleman has said there's multiple Mothman or creatures, cryptids there. So,
that's right.
Lauren, we got to get you on this program.
Yeah, these are all things that emanate from the Goblin universe, and that's why we have the show.
Yes, and Nina, you're doing fantastic. We got about 8 minutes left. What else do we have?
Wait. Only 8 minutes?
Unfortunately, we have about 8. I'm gonna go into our time, so we'll go into 10 minutes. I'll give you a full 10.
Jeez, it's like she just came on.
I know.
Yeah.
But,
we need like at least 3 for me.
That's right.
Got to make it special.
I'll go to 12 minutes. 12 minutes now.
Okay, 12
minutes. Okay. Maybe I could skim this subject then. Okay.
Well, you can come back. You'll come back, and we'll get more reports, and it'll be good.
Yeah, you'll be a monthly guest. You come on, you do your little thing, and this is going to work out well.
Weekly there's something always new that pops up, and I just happen upon it.
Yeah, that's right. You write it down, and then you'll talk about it. So this is great. So
but best if it's compiled, though.
That's right.
Stuff. Yeah.
Don't leave the goblins hanging there, Nina.
Yeah.
You're down to 8 minutes. Tell us something. Give us something.
Ronald, this is for you, and it's actually a recent Bigfoot sighting.
Get out of here. I need to hear this.
Okay.
I'm on pins and needles.
Bigfoot sighting. Yeah, it was up in Northern California, actually. It was right by Avocado Lake, and there was actually reported 6 Bigfoot creatures that were seen. Let me see in this article right here.
I'm glad you're checking your facts. This is good.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is like very recent, recent. It's still pretty very new.
Inside the Goblin Universe, Inside ITGU news is not fake news, is it, Bryan?
No, it is not whatsoever. I'm looking at a photo of what's been reported up there in California, and it's a pretty big boy.
Yeah, so basically it was about 6 that were spotted. They knew they had been spotted, actually, because, people were saying, oh my gosh, get a camera, like, what do we do? And one was actually carrying a pig over its shoulder, but it tripped over like a water pipe. And the pig went flying, and the Bigfoot tried to save itself. So it could have been a family, of the creatures. But they just ran into the forest, and they weren't really seen after that. They just kind of disappeared. So we don't know exactly if it was connected to UFOs being around at the time, or if there might be an actual den that they live in. So we're still out on that exactly.
Well, for all those people out there that said they believe in Bigfoot when pigs fly, this is your case. Right?
Yeah. Now, was the pig alive or was it dead?
No, it was alive.
It was alive.
So they were going hunting. They were hunting for food. So
yeah. It was a local farm that they had, or ranch or whatever that they.
I'd love to be a rancher. I'm sure he's pretty pissed off at this point.
I would love to interview that pig.
When you were flying. that was wonderful. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, when I was reading, I'm all like, well, actually, when I was reading that, I was like thinking to myself, okay, Bigfoot, yeah, that's all nice and great and everything. Family of 6, 7 of them or so. But what happened to the pig exactly? And
that's right. It
just like ran off.
Well, they gotta eat. They know the benefits of bacon.
If they were going to slaughter it and they were going to cook it, they could be the missing link. So
and that was a question
for discussion on that.
I actually had a discussion, and a question was proposed to me, and they said, "Well, does Bigfoot cook their food?" And I said, "Well, I'm not sure." Because, given the millennium that Bigfoot has been roughly on the planet, and Ron, you said about 25,000 years?
About 25,000 years in North America.
So you would think that from observation, they are definitely curious of human beings in certain areas. They fear them too. You would think that they would see the fire, and they would see them doing things with their food by the fire, that they may try to emulate it or simulate it. So I'm wondering if they do cook their food back in wherever they go with it. It's an interesting question. Or do they enjoy the kill and the blood and, the messiness?
Oh, yeah. And pigs inherently have, trichinosis. So you have to be very careful the way you handle the kind of meat. But we're probably talking about it. If it does not cook its food, obviously it has what we would have in our bodies, that is, atrophied organs such as the appendix. Obviously, this thing has some sort of digestive system that is, probably far more primitive than anything that we can possibly understand.
It's I think they have a complex system. I'd love to be able to know more about them without hurting them. That's the whole thing. When we go on investigations, we don't have firearms. We never take them with us. We do have machetes and knives because you're still going into the wilderness and you've got to protect yourself. But I have no desire to go out and kill any one of these things. And my interactions with the big fella and girl has been pretty decent.
They tried to shoo us away. They threw a rock, big boulder, but they weren't out to hurt us. So I'm going to give them the respect that they gave me, and vice versa.
That's right. And that is, there's a lot of cool little touches into this story, though, that gives it some veracity. Tripping over the pipe is really one of those things that stick out in your mind. And also that the pig was alive. I think that is another one of those types of little tidbits that really gives this story an air of truth.
Yes. And it shows the humanistic side of this creature.
That's right.
I'm getting this Abbott and Costello feel for it, like a Jack Link's commercial, messing with Sasquatch. And it trips
right.
And then it pulls the pipe out, and then the next thing you know, all the toilets are flying out of the building. So, I don't know if I would laugh or just be in awe.
Somebody obviously picked up a camera and took a picture.
They took a couple pictures, and of course, it's your typical blurry photo. Most of these cameras on cell phones don't do any justice to photos. But that when we head out west, we will be having real cameras with us at this point.
You know what? I'm not a technological guy, but I will be bringing the best Polaroid camera that I have. I just put that out there.
Best Polaroid. That's good.
Yeah. But Nina, you know what? There is no time left.
Yes.
Even if we keep on stretching, we would have to tell Arizona, the guy that runs the network, that he's going to have to bump another program or something. We are going to have to finish this show.
I know. And I even had this awesome Loch Ness story.
All right.
I know. But next time. Yeah.
You want to? I'll give you the Loch Ness. Let's get the Loch Ness going, and we'll make that the last one.
Okay. It's a short one though. Okay, it's pretty short.
Go.
Okay. So we all know Nessie and Champ and all them, right? And,
we do. Yes, we do.
Yeah. Well, I guess over in the Loch Ness, they found at the floor a big crevice, a huge crevice. So they are guessing that a creature the size of Nessie could quite possibly live in something that gigantic. Honestly, that is just like supernatural portal, material right there. Okay,
yes, it is.
So.
Man, that's right. I have actually been I've been blessed enough to be on an organized expedition on Loch Ness, and even without any kind of crevice, that is a very daunting piece of water. Not very wide, only about a mile wide, and 20 some miles long, but it's extremely deep. Like you could walk out, which I did. Mm-hmm. You could walk out just a few feet, and then it drops down 1,000 feet. So it's a very interesting place. But if you have a crevice down there, if it does indeed link up with some sort of underwater system to allow things to come in from the ocean, which could be a quite interesting possibility, then this could sort of clear up why these things are seen and then they're not seen for a period of time, and then they're seen again. There might be some sort of migratory aspect to these creatures, but very interesting story, which I have not heard.
That's just
right.
Very...
Well, it's new. Yeah. So, with Nessie, something like that thing could be breaching all the time. It could quite, still live even in the ocean. Not everyone is out on the ocean at all times during the day. That's right. Who's to say if, one is out there breaching and, someone's looking the other way or not even around. So,
and you're not very far from the ocean where Loch Ness is at either.
Right.
And I will tell you this, seals gets into Loch Ness, and so do dolphins. Now, people think that they use the Caledonian waterway, but wouldn't it be interesting if they're not using the tributaries to get into Loch Ness, but maybe this underground opening that leads right to the ocean? That would be astonishing.
I got another one for you. Maybe it's the same creature in Loch Ness that's up there in Canada, Ogopogo, and Lake Champlain. And they
same thing.
Because if you think about it on a map standpoint, they're pretty much in the same longitude, latitude. You look at it where they're all located, it's very close.
Ley lines. All I gotta say is ley lines. Okay.
You're opening up all Pandora's box there. I never thought about that. What happens if these things are going off of Earth energies and they're using them as compasses? That's a great point there. That's a fantastic point.
So, I mean, this is something we're definitely going to have to review and at a later date because we have about 2 minutes left, Nina. Unfortunately,
I took up the whole time, didn't I?
Yes, but that was the goal. We wanted you to come back. We wanted to welcome our 2018 with friends and family, and your friend and family, and we want to make sure that it keeps going on inside the Goblin Universe.
That's absolutely the case. Nina, thank you so much. You're pleasant even whenever you're not talking about the paranormal. Anytime that I've ever spoken with you, I've always had a smile on my face afterwards, and I think our little goblins are feeling the exact same way we are about you.
I hope so.
And I can't wait to talk to you again. So, but I will sign off because that's what we do at the end of a radio program.
Yes.
For everybody inside the Goblin Universe, my name is Ronald Murphy.
I am Sir Bryan.
And we will see you again next week inside the Goblin Universe. And thank you very much, Nina, for having us on, or for coming on with us. And you can actually say goodbye as well.
Yes. Have a wonderful night, Goblins. Till next time.
The concept of shape-shifting is ingrained on our psyche, lurking in our collective unconscious and stalking our nightmares. Crypto guru Ronald Murphy tracks the dogmen through history, beginning with the hunt in the dim beginnings of the human race, and follows the tenuous tracks of the werewolf to the modern age. This compelling study seeks the monster in all of us, but more importantly shows the readers the man behind the wolf. On Dogman is available on Amazon.com.